So in this video, we will be focusing on the different marketing channels to use in the different stages of the marketing life cycle. There's plenty of them, so let's take a closer look together. In the channel section of the marketing master map, we are now going to look at the different marketing channels that you can use to reach the goal that you are pursuing in the different stages of the marketing life cycle. There are many marketing channels available, as you will know. What we will try with this section, or the reason why we came up with this section in the marketing master map, is to answer the question that you might have or might have had at some point in your career, which is, oh, I'm using those kind of channels already. Am I missing out on some other channel that might be a good idea at this point of the marketing life cycle? And to really, for you to take one step back and look at the bigger picture to understand whether there are maybe other channels that you should also try. And starting with the demand generation, typical channels that you would use there is the usual and like traditional early funnel channels where you have the first touch point with the user. So that's out of home. That can be PR, so some articles that are on the internet, can be print actually, and radio for some products is a reasonable channel, and also even for some products, influencers that use your product can be a reasonable first touch point to make the user aware that your product exists. If we're then moving on to the conversion generation part, the amount of channels that you would typically be using is reduced quite significantly, because now you're really focusing on that conversion to this first transaction. I think one good example that I'm picking out here in the mobile app context is App Store optimization. Very important at this point of the conversion generation to really like optimize your App Store appearance, because the App Store is the place where all users have to go through even before they can use your product, meaning that you don't want to lose anybody there, and what they see in the App Stores has to meet the expectations that they have towards your product. Once you have completed this conversion generation part and a user has done this first transaction, we are now in the part of relationship management already again. And here it gets a bit easier, I would say, in terms of marketing channels to use, because now you already have much more data about the user, because they are already in your customer base now, meaning you can contact them through a vast majority of different channels, from the usual email to all the app-related channels like push notifications, in-app messages. All of this is available now at your disposal, so you can essentially use more like direct channels to talk to the user and bring them to this point of repeated purchases, but also loyalty, so that they are only purchasing products from your brand versus just products from the same vertical. And the very final piece then is the propagation part, where it's again about the user also talking about how they like to use your product, and they, how they make repeated purchases. And the channels to be used there are very similar to the relationship management part. So here it's again every channel that you now have available for direct communication to the user. Word of mouth is becoming very relevant again. All the in-app channels are very relevant here, and push notifications and everything you can do to create this sense of unity for the user to really identify with your product, and kind of getting them to want to talk about it with their friends and family. That's what you want to do there. And that concludes the channel section of the marketing master map. There are many more, so make sure you check them out on the marketing master map, and tune in again for the other chapters of the map. See you soon.